Hi, it's Mark Rushton of markrushton.com. It is Thursday, December 17th, 2020. And I'm done with the day job for the next 2.5 weeks. I'm off and mostly staycation stuff. And man, I did a sauna last night, which I've not done for a while. I went out to the Iowa Recovery Room in Iowa City, and anyway, I did a sauna last night, and I'm going to do it once a week. And but wow, that really it was good, but I'm still kind of maybe dealing with it a little bit because it's pretty intense. I'm not in there the whole time. It's a half an hour. I think I made it about 27 minutes. In the first 10 minutes, I would, after 10 minutes, I'd get out, drink some water, kind of cool down a little bit. And then after that, every 5 minutes until I got to 25 minutes. And then I did a couple minutes and I was like, got out. I was just like, that's it. Get dressed, get going, go out into the evening air, steam. Got in my car. It steamed all the interior windows up. But it was good. It was good last night. How you read about the benefits of sauna, the Finns, the Canadians. I've done it before. It's a place that's got what's the Iowa Recovery Room got? I won't show I could show the website here. Hold on just a second here. They've got flotation tanks, which is like the first time. We'll bring it over here in just a second. Let's see, here we go. There we go. There's the Iowa Recovery Room. And it's the first time I've done floating since 1986. I did that back in 85, 86. And I really loved it back then. Honest to God, I didn't get that much out of it this time. I've still got one more float because I bought a float package there. And it's fine, but maybe it's just my nervous nature. But I didn't get into it as much. Whereas, and here's the float therapy. Oh, you just get these stock images here. But the sauna, there it is. There's the steam sauna, which I forgot to fill the bowl, and subsequently I did not do the ladle thing because there's not a water source in that room. But 175 degrees, a big slow roasting Rushton. And it did improve my sleep. Not that I have any problems with sleep. And I don't know about that whole sweating out toxins thing. I've got toxins running all through me. But loosen achy muscles and joints. This morning I felt like I'd gone weightlifting. So maybe that's a good thing. Improved blood flow. Yeah, we all need that, don't we? So I'm going to go back once a week, at least through the winter time. And I'll do my other float eventually too. They also have a cold, what's the other thing that they got there? Wellness resource. They have the cold tank. Yeah, the cold tank's in that room too. And you don't go in there very long. I don't want to do that. I'd rather be slow roasted than go in the cold tank. That's if you've worked out real hard and need to kind of it's like the pitcher with his elbow in the water, or the football player. Anyway, so today I've been a little I'm good, slightly headachy. Maybe I should have a Dr. Pepper or something. Maybe that'll solve my problems. Maybe another good night of sleep, right? I guess now I can kind of sleep in a little bit more because whatever, rambling. Got 2.5 weeks off. Let's get back to here. So what am I going to do the next 2.5 weeks? Other than floating. I'll float eventually. Going to sauna once a week. Well, I do have some family obligations and stuff like that, but now it's like the really, it's how I spend my evenings and how I spend my weekends. Making music, editing music, maybe making some art. We'll see. Hold on here. Get a message here. Okay, that's not going to work out. That's not going to work out. I'll try plan B. So next 2.5 weeks, just do more of what you're already doing, right? Just do more of what you're already doing, which is making playlists, building playlists, crafting playlists, getting music onto all those services. I've got a bunch of releases that I'm going to be scheduling for early January. So they got that 2021 date in there. I'll schedule them a few weeks out and, try to submit them through Spotify for maybe someday inclusion into their curated playlists. That's always, keep trying. In the meantime, building everything on the Pandora side, occasionally throwing something in on the Apple Music side. But I don't see any activity on Apple Music. And when you build public playlists, I just don't see it. It's Pandora, it's a kind of Pandora is kind of I wouldn't say it's an entirely closed system. You have to be invited in to make curated playlists. And because of that, I actually get more traction. And Spotify, I make public playlists, but I really have better luck with people finding tracks, throwing them into playlists, and then having them sort of generate that way. So that's kind of my observation. All right, let's talk a little bit about Pandora here. Itchy nosy. Pandora monthly active users, 63 million as of 2019. Probably a little bit less this year, I'm going to guess. But still, even if it's in the high 50s, that's monthly active users. That's an amazing number. That is an amazing number. And that's, if musicians have forgotten about Pandora or they complain because the radio side doesn't pay that much, well, there's other ways to monetize. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I've been doing here the last 3 months with a considerable degree of success. I'm not going to show you my numbers or anything like that, but I will talk about them here on the other screen here. You'll see me, but you'll see me reading here. I have a playlist out here. This is the craziest thing. I've never seen anything like this in my life. So I've got one playlist out there. It's we'll call it a nature sounds. And average minutes per listener, 31 hours, 45 minutes. That's somebody just listening to that continuously. Is that for real? And then not many listeners, but then I have other playlists where, listeners this week, 103. Average minutes per listener, 1 hour, 18 minutes. And in that playlist, it's all my stuff. But here you'll get something else like this. This is more like music oriented. the down-tempo electronic. I got 52 weekly listeners, average listening time of 22 minutes, 39 seconds. It's very good. Very, very good. I tell you though, the ambient music is the tough sell. Ambient music is the tough sell. It's not that it doesn't do anything, it's just that it doesn't do that much. And it's just going to take some time. It's going to take some experimenting, you know. It's going to take some experimenting. All right, so I'm back. I'm not looking. You're looking at this. I'm not looking at that. No one's watching this. I'm rambling. Pandora paid subscribers up. I know they've also been pushing on the on-demand portion. I like these other key stats here. These are kind of interesting. Maybe I'll make this a little bit bigger here so you can read it. Over 10 billion stations have been created on Pandora. Well, a lot of them are inactive. Let me bring me back here and kind of get my reaction here. Yearly streams reached a peak in 2015. I don't care about the peak. What's it doing today? You know, it's still doing good. The average Pandora user listens for 2 hours and 15 minutes per day. And so, yeah, if they can listen to your playlist for an average time of not 31 hours or in a week, but if somebody's listening, you know, you get a lot of listeners. And for 22 minutes or an average time of an hour, it's amazing. Bunch of old stuff here. It takes an artist, this is old data here. It takes an artist on average 752 streams to make $1 on Pandora. That's not true anymore. That's old data. And if you are getting streams on the premium side, that actually pays more per stream than a paid stream on Spotify. I look at my stats. I can filter. I know how to filter data in Excel. I know how to do that. The trouble is you get these lazy journalists out here using this data to ignore that stuff. So yeah, if you're getting streams on the Pandora premium side, you know, from somebody with a subscription, yeah, your per stream will be much higher. You know, it's kind of apples and Tangelos when it comes to that, I guess. I don't know. 25% of Americans use Pandora Music. It's a little bit less these days, but it's still, that's a very high number. Very high number. Anyway. Yeah. So that's why I'm bullish on Pandora. That's why I've been getting the last 3 months here. I've been getting as much of my catalog, into Pandora through the submit. Let me see if I can find that here. Pandora. We won't go that. We'll just stay there. That's why. Getting my catalog in there. And then getting those into playlists. The album playlists have been doing very well. I think I said in the last video, it's like 85 to 90% of the album playlists that are made exclusively out of the albums with additional descriptions with maybe slightly different titles. Those have been doing fine. And it's very early. It's just I have like 2 weeks of data on that. But the oldest one, the newest ones are just a few days old. What's it going to be? Of course, now we go into Christmas. Everything goes down. Everything goes down as far as streaming at Christmas time. And then Picks way back up in January usually. But so yeah, you kind of have to like this period of time, the next 3 weeks or so. It's just whatever your stats are, you just thank your lucky stars that you got anything, because people are off doing other things, or not. Maybe they're not listening as much. Typically, it has gone down 20 to 30%. It's kind of like a weekend. The holidays are kind of like a weekend. Weekend numbers typically go down 20 to 30% and have over a long period of time. You look at your data. If you have a song that performs on a regular even basis, you'll see that just if you look at the data. You gotta look at the data. All right. 15 minutes. I'm tired. Yeah, that Sauna kind of wore me out, but it was good. And yeah, always bring a bottle of water. But see, I can't even talk. Always bring a bottle of water in for the saunas, for during and after, and that's good. And it's going to warm up here. It was supposed to warm up by today, but it's not. It's gray and cloudy here. It's just look at that. Never gonna melt. It's never gonna smelt. But I talked to John Harnish. I've been doing some edits of some music that we've made last week. I haven't edited the week prior, and but we're gonna get together again soon. Probably make some more sounds. Probably looks like. And got to clean this office up just a little bit. As you can see, it's a little sloppy back there. I'm going to be a guest on the Rod Rios Deep Dive podcast eventually. I don't know when. And we're going to talk about Andy Warhol, who I wouldn't say he's one of my favorite artists, but I love this book. This book, The Philosophy of Andy Warhol. I read it often, and it's great. You can just kind of pick it up anywhere in here, and it's great. It's this is a section. I'll read just a little bit here. I'm fascinated by boys who spend their lives trying to be complete girls because they have to work so hard, double time, getting rid of all the telltale male signs and drawing in all the female signs. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm not saying it's not self-defeating and self-destructive. And I'm not saying it's not possibly the single most absurd thing a man can do with his life. What I'm saying is it's very hard work. You can't take that away from them. It's hard work to look like a complete opposite of what nature made you, and then to be an imitation woman of what was only a fantasy woman in the first place. So he goes on about drag queens. Is that the one where he talks about? No, there's like several sections in there where he's talking about drag queens and transgendered people. Back in when was this published? 1975. Take a Walk on the Wild Side. Great book. It's a great book. I just love his attitude. Yeah, his films were a little, and some of his art was, it was what it was. But I love the stories. Whether or not they are actually true or embellished or whatever. Great stories. God, he would have loved the internet. He really would have loved the modern day internet. Can you imagine him on like YouTube or just even Twitter back in the heyday or something like that? Can you imagine how much he would have just loved it? That would have been fascinating. But yeah, so I'm going to get on the Rod Rios Deep Dive podcast. I'll be talking about Andy Warhol. Mostly this book here because I've read it so much. I know it. I know it from A to B and back again. Anyway, approaching 20 minutes. That sauna really did. You take the deep breath with your nose. Just that's good. I tell you, Deep breathe in with your nose. Exhale from your mouth. That's good. I'm going to do that once a week. I'm going to pay. I will pay. So I don't want to have to wheel a sauna into my house here. That's it for now. It's 4:00. See you later. See you tomorrow. Bye.